So everyone, welcome. I'm Anthony Medaglia of V1, and today kicks off the first in a series of educational webinars where we will be diving into key strategies to help you as coaches grow your businesses, scale your impact, and create more freedom in your careers. And leading the way throughout this series is our friend Dan Heaney. But before we dive in, I want to get everyone involved right away, okay? So take a second to find in the chat function, drop a few words about what you're hoping to get out of today's webinar. The goal here, we're trying to keep an eye on those questions and make sure that we cover as much as possible. And if we don't get to something during the session, don't worry, we'll follow up with you directly afterwards. Okay? So now Dan is a business consultant and coach who specializes in helping golf instructors break free from the endless grind of in-person lessons and building something more scalable. Through his hybrid Client Flywheel system, he's helped countless of coaches transition into profitable online coaching businesses by blending live instruction and digital offerings. He knows exactly what it takes to create a business that not only generates consistent revenue, but also provides more freedom and flexibility, in which most of you here today have expressed to myself and obviously the V1 team. And with that, today's session is all about dominating social media. Dan is going to break down how coaches can leverage social media to attract new clients, grow their brand, and build a thriving business. Now, a good amount of you have submitted your social media handles for Dan to critique and provide feedback, so we'll touch on those later today as well. So Dan, take it from here. Welcome.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you having me, and I hope this is valuable for everybody. Like Anthony said, if you drop any questions, I'll really look to cover those as we go. And I don't want to talk for too long today, just give you guys a real overview of how to set up for success online, especially when it comes to social media. And then from there, we'll get into looking at some different profiles and diving into some Q&A so you guys can get some actionable feedback out of today's presentation. So just let me know. I'm going to share screen and make sure everybody can see this here. Is this sharing, Anthony? Oh, yeah, we're good.
Perfect.
It's on. Cool. I can see it now. Sweet. So the focus of today's webinar is really going to cover setting up your social media profiles so that you can dominate on social media in 2025 and beyond. We're not going to get too much into the content creation process. I'll give you a little bit of that. But if we want to do a webinar specifically on that topic in the future, I'd love to come back and do that for you guys as well. We're looking to host these quite frequently on a monthly cadence so that I can just cover whatever questions you have about how to transition and just make it work online to be able to consistently get clients in that setting. So the focus of this session is really all about setting up social media profiles. And we're going to cover Instagram primarily, which will translate over to TikTok and other short form platforms, as well as touching on YouTube when we get to the end of this as well too. So we'll dive right in so I don't talk too long and we can give you guys some feedback. There we go. All right, it's working now. So the first thing when it comes to social media, setting up your brand online, positioning yourself as an authority and an expert in the online space is making sure that your profile is optimized in order to be a landing page for your business that takes traffic from the posts that you're putting out there and turns them into potential students. So one of the biggest issues that I see for most coaches when they start online is they don't effectively know how to set up their profile at all. And because of that, when you go and create content, you're kind of wasting that traffic, right? The content that you are creating is not producing the end result that you desire, which is ultimately more students that you can help get better at the game. So the big things that we're going to cover inside of this, like I said, will apply to all the different social media channels. I'm going to focus mostly on Instagram, and then I will tell you how that would apply to TikTok as well, or other short form platforms, TikTok, X, whatever that might be. So in optimizing your social media profile, the very first thing you want to consider is the picture. So the picture is very important. One of the biggest mistakes that I see off the bat for people with a profile picture is not putting their face. Ultimately, online, you're building the brand of you. And so when someone sees your profile for the first time, it helps to have a smiling headshot of yourself, a high quality, smiling, and preferably in golf attire. You can be on the course or just with a plain colorful background. But that's the biggest thing that I would do right away is put a headshot of yourself happy, smiling on your profile. Don't use a logo. Don't put some other random photo of something else. Like I've seen coaches with cat pictures in their bio. It does not help to establish your authority in your brand and get people immediately connected to you. This makes a great first impression. It's going to be clear, professional, approachable, which are all things that we want. We want to avoid group photos or having it be dark. Like I said, we want it to be light, well lit, a colorful background, or a very vibrant golf course in the background, usually chest up, right? So that's a classic headshot. And again, wearing your favorite, branded hat, whatever that might be, collared shirt, all that's great. Once you have a profile set up or a profile pic set up, next we want to go into choosing the right username. This is another common fault that I see for specifically golf instructors when it comes to online, is not having a username that immediately tells the person who just found your account what it is that you do. And so my recommendations is that you want to make your user account on brand with your name, because that's what we're trying to build online, is your brand and your name established online, and making it applicable to what you do. So some very simple examples here would be Coach John Golf, or using my name if I was positioning as a golf instructor online, Dan Heaney Golf. And these two immediately tell the person who just found your account what's in it for them, what it is that you do. And so if they just found you randomly online, this is really important for very quickly establishing why they would ultimately follow you and decide to become an avid consumer and a fan of what you do. We want to really avoid using generic usernames like John Smith 123 or using a brand name. I would not recommend that as well. When it comes to online, your brand probably isn't highly established at this point. And so it's much better, in my opinion, to brand around you as an individual and use your name instead of, high performance golf or whatever that might be. With the power of AI, it's really easy to come up with some options here. You may not have your name plus golf available online, so you might have to add some underscores or a couple numbers if you needed to, or another word. But I would highly recommend just going with changing your username to your name plus golf, or your name, golf coach, whatever that is. If people ask all the time, like how easy it is to change the name of your Instagram account or TikTok account or whatever that might be, it's actually really straightforward. They allow you to make these changes. They limit the amount of times you can do it in a condensed window, but most likely you haven't done this before. And so you should be able to go change your name today. It won't affect anything from the followers you already have. It will just make it more clear for the new people coming to your profile what it is that you do. From there, the next important thing to do in any profile is use the name field to provide some context for what it is that you do. So an example here that you see on the right is golf instructor and coach. Very simple. But what this does on Instagram and TikTok and other platforms is it adds SEO, search engine optimization, to your account. So a lot of people nowadays don't search things through Google like we all kind of traditionally did over the last 10 years. It is now shifting to more search through either AI or search through social media platforms. So when someone is searching for golf tips, golf instruction, golf coach, you want this to be in your name field, right? Which is the part next to where they'll ask you, you'll have your username, and then they'll ask you what your name is. You put your name, then you put a vertical line, and you put what it is that you do. So an example right here, John Smith, golf coach for busy professionals. This will help to have your account be more discoverable by people that are, searching for related fields on social media. It will also help the social media platform understand more about what it is that you do and help to make you more discoverable to potential clients. So these are really simple and easy things that we can change right away to start to have your account perform better with the organic content that you are creating. Another example, John Smith helping golfers lower their handicap in 90 days. It potentially is a little bit long, but it gives a really clear context to what it is that you do. The secondary benefit of this, if somebody comes to your profile, it's immediately apparent to them who you are and what you do. And that will get a lot more of the traffic you're generating to choose to follow you and interact and engage with your account. From there, after we've optimized our name, it's really important that we create a bio and a tagline. I'm going to go through each steps of the bio that ultimately convert people to followers and get them to take the next step with your business. So we're going to go into a bunch of profiles that were submitted for audits at the end of this. But a big thing that I see in the majority of golf coach profiles online is that they aren't utilizing their bio very effectively. It's not clear who they help, how they help them. It's not clear how to take the next step with them. There's link trees in the bio, which we'll get into. So we're not crafting this experience that we also want people to go through with us online. So you want a tagline. Tagline is the first sentence in your bio that you can see right here as an example of Matt, one of my clients, helping golfers break 80 and lower their scores. Very clear who he helps and what he helps them to do. This is important because we want to immediately, in a split second, when someone lands on our profile, to understand that. What I would do is come up with your I help statement using this framework. I help target audience achieve specific results in time frame without common obstacle. This is a classic that's used online and internet marketing all the time. And it really gives clarity to the audience that's coming to your profile on why they would choose to follow you and consume your content. Without this, you might think it's obvious that you're a golf instructor and that might be why they follow. But the more specific and targeted you can be in the statement, the better your profile will do at converting traffic into followers and then ultimately into online students. An example, I help busy professionals lower their handicap by 5 strokes in 90 days without sacrificing their weekends. And a great way to come up with ideas here, right, is again, like lean into AI. It's available and does a great job of this, to put in this statement and it will come up with ideas for you. And then you can play around with it and select the best one for you. But I highly recommend having an I help statement as the first line in your bio on all social media platforms. Make it the same, congruent across all of them. And this will help a lot in converting traffic. After our tagline, it's important we have clear calls to action. So if the people come into your profile or the followers that are already there don't understand what the next step is, if they desire more from you, we are losing opportunities. And so the first thing that we can do is put a DM call to action, as you see in this profile of Trip, another one of my clients here, DM me mindset for tour level mental strategies. So a clear DM call to action as the third line in the profile will allow more people coming to follow your account or seeing your account for the first time or going through your content to understand if they want more, this is exactly what I needed to do to take that next step. Then we can also, if we have room in the bio, or if we want to do a different style of call to action, we can also tell them to take the next step of either applying or messaging us for something for free, or having the call to action push them to the link in bio, right? So that would be an example right here. Get a free swing analysis with an arrow down. In that case, my link would be a form for them to get a free swing analysis. This is the best way to convert traffic from your profile sort of on autopilot, is to make it very clear what the next step in the process is for them to take. So with the link in bio, this is a big one that I want to cover and make sure everybody's super clear on. I would not recommend putting a link tree in your bio. Link trees are historically poor at conversion rates, and they do not do a great job of choreographing the steps in the next sequence of events for your ideal prospect. So it's much more effective to put a singular link in your bio, giving them a clear option to take. You'll get higher conversion rates, you'll get more people filling out that form, and you'll get more opportunities and leads from your profile if there's only one link. This is true of all social media bios. So if you can simplify this process, have one link for them to show interest and take the next step, that is ideal. And there's a couple of simple options you can use. You don't even need a website. You don't need to be a landing page expert or form builder expert. You can use something like Typeform or Google Form, which are very intuitive and easy to set up, to put a simple either coaching application, free swing analysis, free game assessment of some kind as the singular link in your bio. And it's an example of the call to action that would push to that again, right? get a free swing analysis, have the link below. They fill out a few simple questions, give you their contact information. Now they're a lead. Now you have the opportunity and the control to follow up with this person, which is much more efficient and effective than hoping that at some point they click some link in bio and decide to pay you some amount of money. That usually doesn't happen very effectively. So take the one link in bio strategy and have it be to a simple form that gives you contact information, allows for you to follow up with that prospect. Usually an offer of something that is free will up the amount of volume. You'll get more people opting in for something that's free versus something that is paid at first. So I do recommend that. Ooh. From here, this is applicable on Instagram and also on TikTok because you have the ability to pin posts. Pin posts are really important on your bio as well. And there's 3 things I recommend doing in your pin posts. So having a client transformation that's pinned, that shows a before and after results, either of an improved swing or a scoring milestone that they broke after working with you. The second pin post being your story. So what it is about your experience, your journey to where you've gotten right now, why they would consider working with you. So tell your story in a pin post. That can either be a video post or that can be a carousel. And have a third pin post that is the offer. And so pin a post with a CTA for your current coaching offer. So tell them who it is that you help, what it is that you do with those players to help them get better, and then give them a call to action to either comment or DM you if they're interested in learning more. These sitting at the top of your profile as traffic comes will become automatic lead generators for your business if we optimize these effectively. And I would not use the pin post to just put your highest performing organic post ever, which is what I see a lot of coaches do. We want clear objectives for these posts. And most of the time it's to drive interaction, engagement, and people commenting, DMing, doing that next thing. From there, just touching a little bit on posting. We won't get too much into this, but we want to be consistent with posting. Now that our profile is set up, posts drive traffic to our profile. And now that it can actually convert the traffic we're generating, we want to make sure that we're doing posts daily if we can, mix of reels, which are for reach, carousels, which engage our current audience, and stories, which build a lot of trust and help with conversion. We want to document the journey of either our own game or, more importantly, our clients' progress. We want to make sure that we're responding to comments and messages because that helps our account perform better and get more reach by the fact that we are engaging. We want to share consistent tips, which I'm sure you guys are already doing. We want to make sure that we're giving consistent insights and tips and technique advice to our audience so that they find value in following our account and come back over and over again. Consistency is really, really important when it comes to social media. All social media services really look at this. They want creators that show up on a consistent basis on their platform before they will put you out there to more people. From there, different styles of posts that we want to mix in here. Like I said, not too in-depth here, but just giving you guys an idea. We want transformative content. Client success stories are huge. Relatable stories of yourself or clients. We want to obviously provide the value inside of actionable tips. We can talk a bit about mindset, both on the course and off it, just in general. And also, very importantly, we want conversion content. So we want content that asks people to take the next step with us. This is a little bit deeper into it. Transformative content. The biggest thing here is just sharing client stories. That's going to be huge for you as much as you possibly can. Demonstrate what it is that you do as a coach and how you've helped hundreds of others to achieve a very specific result. Share relatable content, face on camera, talk to camera, and tell stories. That's super impactful. It builds a deep relationship with your audience that ultimately gets them to the point where they want to become a student of yours. And then obviously the stuff that you're probably doing a lot of is the value-packed reels. So creating short actionable tips like 3 drills to fix your slice in 5 minutes, and use a formula that presents the problem, provides a solution, and then gives them a clear call to action, which is usually going to be comment, share, save, or follow for more. Instagram stories are also huge. And this is specific to Instagram, but stories would apply to Facebook, and some functionality would apply over to TikTok as well and other places. Stories are behind the scenes. This is how you build a relationship. So make sure you're active on there daily if you really want to convert your following into being clients. This is huge for building a relationship and ultimately getting people to take the next step. Use interactive elements as much as you possibly can. Polls and Q&A stickers are huge. You can see example of me doing this morning on my account with engaging with my prospects and audience, and show lots of social proof in your stories as well. That's huge. YouTube as the other platform I want to make sure you guys are set up for success on, which I love YouTube. It's one of the best platforms out there for growing a coaching business. The strategies on YouTube are a little bit unique, but the principles apply across all social media profiles. You really want to highlight how you're unique. You want to have a specific target audience, and you obviously want to demonstrate your expertise inside of that unique aspect of the game and with the specific person that you help. It is much harder to stand out as a generalist on YouTube right now because there are so many instructors posting there. So I would encourage kind of niching down to start. From there, inside of content and coming up with YouTube strategies, really it is researching. The preparation is going to be key here. Asking your current clients, whether in person or online, what they would want to learn when it comes to YouTube instruction, and then just answering those questions in your YouTube videos. If you can find an underserved niche and really dive into that topic, it will help. And creating videos that are more hyper specific. So this number 2 says long tail keywords, which just means instead of saying golf tips or saying, how to hit your driver better, it is how to eliminate how to eliminate the slice on the off the tee in 5 minutes or less. So it's creating this like hyper specific long tail keyword search phrase for the YouTube platform and creating those videos, which will allow for you to find a very niche audience that will buy in and ultimately are more likely to become a student of yours online. You can also do a lot of how-to content that performs very well on YouTube, and even take it to the course and video what you're doing live on course with course management, on course instruction, and showcasing live lessons as well. With YouTube, just some things that we want to consider if you are creating long form content. Hook the viewers in the first 15 to 30 seconds. Deliver clear value early on to keep them engaged. Include social proof, show practical demos, and have call to actions in your content on YouTube, which is usually going to be go to the description or the first pinned comment to take the next step, to get something for free or to apply for a free analysis of some kind, an assessment, whatever that might be. With production, don't get too much into it right now. Just understand that done is better than perfect, and consistently creating on any platform is going to be the biggest thing. With YouTube, because we're talking about like setting up your profile and making sure that it's optimized to get students online, the big thing that we want to do is set it up to convert versus just get lots of subscribers and followers. So you want to share student success stories on your YouTube channel as well. You want to constantly demonstrate your expertise, which you're all great at. You want to engage in the comments as much as you possibly can, especially on a new account. And you want to have calls to actions to take the next step. So offer free resources that they can opt into to get as the first link in the description. You can also promote your online lesson packages in your videos, which is not a bad thing to do. You don't have to shy away from that. And you can direct viewers to some sort of booking link if you have a next step, like a free swing analysis or assessment. YouTube, the big things on that platform are going to be title and thumbnail. They determine a lot of the success. So if you want to grow on YouTube, focus most of your time and energy. The 80-20 rule, 80% of your time should be in preparation and then preparing the title and the thumbnail for YouTube, because those are really important for getting people to even click to watch the video. After that, you can create your descriptions with lots of keywords related to the topic and use something like AI to help you to do that, that will help the video perform because YouTube is a search platform. And make sure that you are ultimately engaging with your audience there. They have different features on YouTube and the community tab and stuff like that. But without getting too much into that, the biggest thing is just when people interact or engage when they comment, make sure that you're commenting back to everybody who does comment on your videos. That's really all I wanted to cover from setting up profiles. Now I want to get into showing you guys that. But if you have additional questions about this, if you want an audit that I don't get to cover live on this webinar today, just hit me up on social media, on Instagram. I'll happily audit any account. Like, you can send me the username. I'll do a video breakdown of your account separately and send that back to you, and just make sure that you get the feedback that you need. But this is all just about setting up your account for success. So if you implement those things, it will start to perform better without even getting into content. All right, Anthony, anything we want to cover before going into profile audits specifically? I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm here. Gotcha. Yeah, that was great. Appreciate you going over that. Obviously, we got to chat before this, and a lot of pros, existing pros, are asking, hey, how do I leverage this tool? Or how do I leverage social media? And the question we ask is, are you on social media or are you using social media, right? And obviously, you're able to dive into some of those tactics. So I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and audit a couple of those social media accounts. If you want to check those out, should be fun. And like Dan said, if you have any other ones, or if you feel free to send some to Dan, he'll give you some feedback as well.
Awesome. So one of the first ones we're going to dive into, and yeah, for everybody, it's going to probably get a little bit repetitive in auditing these, because a lot of them are going to need a lot of the same things. But it's just to get the repetition of really owning this and understanding it and being able to apply it to your account. And like I said, feel free to reach out with a specific account that you want me to look at, and I'll take a look at that as well. So Jimmy's profile here, there's take all my feedback as just positive. This is only going to help your business. There's a lot of coaches that are making these exact same mistakes. So there's nothing against any of these instructors or coaches. They're doing a great job. They're out there. They're putting out content. They're putting themselves out there on the internet, which is a hard thing to do. You've never been taught this before. So this is probably the first time that you're hearing a lot of this. And that's ultimately why I want to do this, to be able to help you guys out, to start to see more traction from your social media profiles. So Jimmy, the first thing that I would do on your account as you're watching this, the first is I would change your username. The House 53 Performance Academy, to me, immediately, I have no idea what that's about. House 53 means nothing to me as someone that just doesn't know anything really about you. And so I would encourage you to change that potentially to something related to golf and around your name, potentially the examples I gave earlier, Jimmy Shaw Golf. I think that would help immediately establish what it is that you do for someone that's new coming to your account, because they don't have any context for what House 53 Performance Academy is. So I'd recommend that. Second thing, which I didn't mention in the presentation, but I do think is valuable, is to get verified for $15 a month. It is an additional expense that you have to consider for your business. At $15 a month, it will just help the conversion rate of your profile, bumping the percentage of people that opt in to follow you or take the next step, because there's a little bit of trust there when we have a verified account. So I potentially change the name, verify the account. Profile picture is solid. You don't necessarily have to change anything there. The only potential is to have a bit more of your face and have it smiling, but honestly, it's not bad the way that it is. The big things that I would change when it comes to the bio is next to Jimmy Shaw, I'll put a vertical line or a dash, and then put what it is that you do, golf coach and instructor, however you want to be known, whatever phrasing you want to use there, but that will help with SEO and search of your account. Next, when we go into the bio, let me actually expand the bio here. Cool. So with the bio, some key things that I would never do in a profile is I would never put links to another Instagram account in my bio. And the reason is because all of these links are clickable. So at V1 Sports, at Callaway Golf, at Sportsbox AI, at MyTPI, at Ace Fitness, all of those are amazing credentials. They are just siphoning your traffic to all of these other accounts and it's lowering the conversion rate on our profile. So the people that are coming here now have so many things that they can click on to go off of your profile and go elsewhere and get distracted and not come back. So I would not put links to anybody else's profile in your bio. You can change this to demonstrate some of these things without having the username that is clickable. So if you wanted these credentials to still be in your bio, you can still have them there without having the clickable link. With the bio, it's not super clear who we help, how we serve them, and how we're different in helping them. It is just kind of personal accolades, which again, these are all amazing. But people come into your profile are immediately going to ask, what's in it for me? And these don't really answer that question. So the big things that I would recommend is coming up with that I help statement. Who it is that you help, how do you serve them, what do you help them to do, how are you different from everybody else? Then you can have some of this in there that provides some proof with the certifications. And then I want a clear call to action, either a DM call to action or a call to action to click the link, which is to your website. So if I pull up the website and share that as well, let me share. Hold on. Maybe it's freezing on me. Am I back? All right, I think it was slow there for a second. So if I pull up the website that it sends traffic to, this is just not going to be a great use of our traffic to send to a website like this. Jimmy, no offense, and take this as love. This website looks like it's out of the 1990s, and it's not doing a great job of positioning you the way that I think that you want to be positioned, and two, it's not great for conversion. So typical websites have terrible conversion rates. And so what that means is, like, if I drove 100 unique visitors to the site, we want to get as many people as possible to opt in and give us their contact information. And so with a site like this, there's so many links that somebody can click off to, and it's just not optimized. We're going to lose potential opportunities by sending our traffic here. So my recommendation is don't worry about completely redoing your website. Instead, you can use one of the other services that I recommended as easy ways to get this transitioned over, a Google form or a type form with a simple survey that somebody can fill out, expressing interest in what you do, or some sort of first free lesson, free swing analysis, initial assessment that would allow them to put in name, phone, email, and then you can reach out and contact. That will have a much higher conversion rate, which just means, like, more of the people coming to your profile will give you the permission to reach out to them. And if more people give you permission to reach out to them, you'll have more people who ultimately become clients of yours. So that's the big thing that I would adjust there, is to change the link in bio to some sort of form. And eventually you can have a landing page. Eventually you could get into redoing website. I wouldn't worry about that right now. That'll be a distraction. Or if you didn't want to go the route of Google form or type form, just do a simple DM call to action in your bio to get people to interact with you. Then the next things would be the pin posts that I talked about. The other is, you can see in a lot of, let me show this real quick. So Carrot is just a good example of what a quality profile looks like. And if you can see here, he has these circles: free guides, results, start here, work with me, discounts. These are called highlights. So when you've posted something as a story, you can turn it into a highlight that lives on your profile here. That's another small optimization that will help a profile out, is to do at least one highlight that is client results. So posting case studies, testimonials, and results to your stories, and then pulling them into a highlight will help to demonstrate what it is that you do very quickly for someone that is visiting your profile. So highlights will help. A different link in bio, sending them somewhere else. And then the pin post that I discussed, having a pin post that is your story, having a pin post that is a program overview and a call to action to work with you, and then having a pin post that talks about client case study, testimonials, transformations, scoring, like breaking scoring plateaus, swing changes, whatever that is. Just demonstrate what it is that you do as an instructor. So those are the big things that I would do on this profile to help to optimize. All right. Moving on to Danny's profile. So with Danny, the name is good. What I would recommend is getting verified, as I already said, changing the profile picture so it is more of a headshot. I can see your face. I can see you smiling. I get to immediately know a bit about who you are and connect with you just by seeing your face when I come to the profile. Secondarily, like, there's nothing in the bio here. So that's off-putting to anybody that might be seeing your content and considering following you. So I would put name and then what it is that you do, and then have a bio that's optimized, like I talked about before. Have a link in the bio or a DM call to action, and then set up your 3 pin posts. And if you can add highlights as well through stories, that'd be amazing. All right, so a lot of the same things. With an account like this, the challenge is that as you're posting all this great content of your clients and their transformations and how amazing these amazing results that you have, ultimately it's driving traffic to the profile that is not going to be very likely to convert people into followers. And if they don't become followers and then actively engage with their account, we're going to have a hard time getting them to become students of ours and signing up for coaching with us. So the bio will help a ton with that. Just showing who you are, what it is that you do, and getting people instantly bought into why they would consider working with you. All right, we'll go to the next one and keep this rolling. So Enrico here, some of the same things. It's just his name, which isn't necessarily bad, but it doesn't give me any context to what it is that he does instantly. So I might add in golf in some fashion here. Then I would get verified. Profile pic is solid. I would add a bio. So you can see that he has his name here, but next to his name, I would put more about what it is that he does, and then I would add a bio. Same thing, because without the bio, when people who don't know who we are come into this profile, they're going to be quick to bounce because they don't get the question answered of what's in it for me. Like, why am I here? What can I get out of this profile? They also don't see you as like a real human who consistently posts on this profile because there's nothing here. There's nothing for them. There's no context. Also, the pin post, same exact thing that I recommended before. I would add in those pin posts. And this all helps because when you are out there creating content and you're putting all this time, energy, and effort into making that content and driving people to your profile, if it's not set up, we're wasting a lot of that energy, time, and effort if we ultimately can't convert these people once they get here. All right, next one up. So Mark's doing a lot of good things here with his profile. There's just some small adjustments that I would make. Name solid. PGA obviously gives insight into the fact that he's a golf instructor. The picture is just a bit too zoomed out. So I would want to get closer and be able to see your face here. You might be able to use this picture and just zoom in as long as the quality is high enough and it doesn't get super pixelated. Then this is great. Mark Heineman Golf. So it says what it is that you do. I might change that a little bit to have golf instructor and coach, just a little bit more terms for search potential. Then bio, we have a bio. It is pretty good. I would do some optimizations. In the I help statement, I would move that first because it's the first thing people read when they come to your profile and see your bio. And that's immediately going to tell them whether or not they want to follow. And so I help golfers worldwide play better golf and achieve their goals online. Not bad, but I would try to get more specific. So what type of golfers? What does play better golf mean? Shoot lower scores would be a very broad statement. So if we can be more specific in that, it will be better. And doing that through the online, totally cool. But I'd love to see what's unique about the way that Mark does this versus other coaches when it comes to online. So positioning yourself a little bit differently, because this statement, while it's better than not having one at all, is very generic and broad. And because of that, it will sound like everybody else. And so it may not convince people to ultimately choose to follow and engage. I also would not put links to other profiles and bio, as I already stated. And I would have a DM call to action to find out more. I don't like link trees, so I would not use a link tree here in the profile because that will drop conversion rates and ultimately opt-ins and leads. The highlights are great. There's a lot of them, which is great. And then the big things are the pin posts, optimizing those so we can use them as conversion assets as well. From there, got a couple more to dive into. All right, so here are some of the same things. Solid profile. There's some good content here. Some of the stuff looks good. The name is solid. I would just get verified. Profile pic is not bad. It is a headshot. It's a little zoomed out, and it's not the highest quality. So I'd want this to be lighter, brighter, zoomed in a bit more, higher quality, more pixels, so I can just see your face a bit better in this small little circle. Name here, awesome. I would just add a vertical line or dash and then golf coach and instructor or something like that. I would expand the bio to speak a bit more about who you help, how you help them, how you're different, and what they can expect from following you. Then totally cool to have some of these qualifications in here. If we are not specifically or only or exclusively using this profile to drive in-person business, I don't necessarily think that the address helps your profile at all. You don't necessarily have to take it out, but I would use the third line to put a clear call to action, either DM or a call to action to go to the link. And let's pull up the link as well, and I'll show you guys this. So right away, something to just make sure that doesn't happen with your domain. If it is not a secure domain, so you haven't paid for that with your domain provider, this will happen on browsers like Google Chrome, which I tried to click the link and this popped up and said your connection is not private. And it's going to ask me if I want to continue. That alone is going to crush your conversion rates, even if the website is good. So I'll continue because I know it's safe. And website's solid. The thing with websites, again, is even if it's a great looking website, it won't convert as well as a simple form or a landing page where there's one action for someone to take. And so I would recommend changing it to a form or a landing page with only one singular action, because there's so many things that I can click on here, which you might think is a good thing, but it actually crushes conversion rates because there's too many options for people to take. So those would be my recommendations. Profile here, and then obviously using the pin posts. Go back to this tab. Using the pin posts as conversion assets. Moving this to our last one, and we can dive into a couple questions if there's any in the chat. David, his name is awesome here, except I want to add golf to have it be clear. Profile picture on the right track with it. It is just dark. It's a bit hard to see your face. So I want that to be clearer, lighter, higher pixel count. So it's a higher quality there. Golf Academy is not bad in the name here. And then links in bio like this, I'm not a fan of. I would use the bio to do what I said before, who you help, your credentials and qualifications, and then a clear call to action. And then he also links out to a site, which I'll show. And again, solid site, quality, good looking. I wouldn't change anything about this. It is just going to have lower conversions than if you did a simple landing page or a simple form to be able to get more people to give you their contact information so you can reach out. And those are all the profiles. So Anthony, I'll turn it back over to you and we can answer any questions that did come in. Give us some time for that.
Great. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for diving into those. And obviously thank you to you coaches who submitted those. Obviously you guys have a growth mindset in regards to improving. So we'll continue to, I think that's something that will stick. I like that a lot.
Leslie gave me one more. So
let's knock it out. I think it's Nancy. Yeah.
Yep. I'll jump into Nancy's as well. Cool. Let me see. I got to share again. All right. Cool. So we're jumping into Nancy's profile as well. Last one here. So Nancy, your name is great. The profile picture, solid. I like everything there. Nancy, School of Golf. I'm good with it. And then from here, what I would just optimize is the bio. So credentials are great. The biggest thing when someone comes to the profile is they're going to ask the question of what's in it for me. So talking more so, use that I help statement. I help this golfer get this specific result in this time frame without doing this, or with some unique methodology that you use. That will be powerful. And then having a third line that is a call to action, either a DM call to action or sending them to the next step, which is the link in bio. I'm going to open up the link. First time, open in here. So we'll get to look at this together. Again, this is a great website. Nothing wrong with it at all. Just again, websites will not do a great job of converting your traffic at a high enough percentage to make it effective for you guys trying to get students online. So don't change your website at all. What I would do is just change the link in the bio to send them somewhere else, which is some sort of contact form for something of value that they can very easily fill out, give you their contact information so then you can reach out. But those are the small tweaks to the bio. Potentially get verified as well. Add the highlights in, which will help, and then use these pin posts. So, this is a great start to a profile. Those are just the small things that I would tweak, and it will help with conversion rates. And not only that, but getting more people that are following you and interacting and engaging to take the next step with you.
Great. Thanks, Dan. We've had a lot of great conversations with most of you coaches here, attended. One of the things that we wanted to drive down is the idea of this single destination, right? This landing page or a form. As you know, we are building landing pages for our pros today. And we just wrote a blog, I think a couple weeks ago, deciphering between a web page and a website. So feel free to dive into that information as well. We only have a couple more minutes, Dan. We're going to answer just a couple questions and then we can send it off. Okay.
Cool.
All right. First one is from Jeff. How do I circulate my highlights on my Instagram or how often those pin posts, right? How often should you filter those in, filter those out?
Yeah. So highlights can have quite a few stories in them. So I forget the exact cap on it, but it's a lot. It's like something like 50 stories in them. And you can have a lot of those highlights. So you can fill up, I think it's potentially up to 10 story highlights with up to 50 stories in each. So typically, most coaches won't fill those up anytime soon. The biggest ones are going to be sharing client stories, testimonials, transformations through your stories on Instagram, then pulling them into a highlight, labeling that highlight client results as a way just to demonstrate very quickly what you've done for others who are looking for that same result. So in those, it's just anytime that you have a text message, like you do a swing analysis video that's a before and after, someone just like comments, "Oh, this was so amazing. I shot my best score ever," whatever. Like, it's just getting the practice of sharing that consistently on your stories on Instagram and then pulling them into that highlights section so that it lives longer, because stories are only 24 hours. And so if someone doesn't see that initially, but they come to your profile, get into those highlights, they now see like proof of you demonstrating what it is that you do. With the pin posts, you don't have to recycle those too often. Once you get a quality pin post up, it can live on your profile for months and months and months. I usually look at mine once a quarter, once every other quarter, to just reassess if I want to make any changes and add something, because things have probably changed in that time. But usually you don't have to cycle those too frequently if they are working.
Great. Well, probably one more question. If I were to, this comes from Kevin, what social media account or social media platform would you prioritize over all of them?
So for me, I like Instagram and YouTube. And the reason I give two is because I use them for different reasons, short form versus long form. So YouTube is one of the best platforms out there for building an online audience that is valuable and willing to spend money with you. And it's the only one that is really dedicated to long form and having this pool of people on the platform who want to watch long videos. And so you can do a lot to build a ton of trust with your audience and build a really diehard fan base by being on YouTube. So YouTube, I recommend once a week and just being consistent with 3 to 15-minute videos on the platform. Then Instagram, I like it more than TikTok because I think that it has a more valuable audience. So I have a client that has 150,000+ on TikTok. He has 58K on Instagram, and he makes more money from the audience on Instagram than he does from the one that's almost triple the size on TikTok. And so for me, that's just what I've seen. To sell a coaching service, Instagram is a more valuable audience, in my opinion. Plus, Instagram has a lot of features that allow for you to get in DMs, direct message conversations with people on the platform, which it's really good at. And that's where you have the opportunity to get people to sign up to work with you, is in having a conversation with them. So that's why I like Instagram over something like TikTok, and also over something like X, which is not a bad platform, or even YouTube Shorts, because YouTube as a platform is not really made for short content, and short form viewers on YouTube typically don't go over to long form. But without getting like too much into that rabbit hole, golf is just a visual sport. So I think a visual platform lends itself very well to demonstrating what it is that we want to talk about. So that's my preference. Instagram and YouTube, the combination is what I've seen work best.
Awesome. Unbelievable insights, Dan. That wraps up for today's session, obviously. Thanks again for your insights, your expertise. And for you guys who've attended or watching this, please join us next month. We're going to have another educational session with Dan. And then just be on the lookout for more opportunities to work with Dan and facilitate, his educational, knowledge. So any parting words before we head out, Dan?
No, I hope that was valuable for everybody. And yeah, the biggest thing, online business is not as mystical as it may seem to you right now. It really is a simple set of processes and principles that, when you have them set up, will make it a lot more consistent. So instead of feeling like you're lost and just like trying all these things and nothing is sticking or seeming to work, the business is pretty simple. We have to be able to let people know who we are, get them interested in what we do, make a sale, and then fulfill on that sale. And it's entirely possible online. These small things hopefully will go a long way into setting you up for success, so that you're not wasting your time trying to make this online thing work and feeling like it's impossible. But yeah, hit me up with any more questions. I'm happy to answer any of them. I'm always available through Instagram in the DMs. So yeah, hopefully this is valuable for everybody.
Thanks. See you next month, everyone. Thanks.